Hello shooters, I'm Dr. Tactical, and today I have two radically different firearms with me. I have here the Sig Rattler in 300 Blackout, and I have here my Henry Big Boy X in 357. What do these guns have in common? Well, they have this gun in common. This is my Henry 300 Blackout, Henry Supreme in 300 Blackout. Sorry about all the barking, but that's Pepper, and she's having a great time. She's just running around, and you'll be hearing her throughout the video. Anyway, this is a great gun. It was announced back at SHOT Show 2024. I had the opportunity to do a video with Henry, and I had the opportunity to shoot the gun as well, and I really was impressed with it, and I anxiously waited for it to come out. I waited an entire year, in fact, and then in SHOT Show 2025, I went back to their booth and spoke with George, and George was kind enough to explain to me that unfortunately they had some hiccups with it and they didn't want to put it out yet because they found after they got into the thousands of rounds count, there were some hiccups, and they didn't want to put out a product they couldn't stand behind. So I do respect that. Now that was January of 2025. We are now into October of 2025, and I finally got my hands on one of these. It's been very difficult to get a hold of. And I have a lot to say about it. I'm a big fan. A little spoiler alert for you, but let's talk about it. So I'm Dr. Tactical, and the doctor will see you now. Welcome back to the channel, and those of you new to the channel, welcome to the channel. So first, let me address a question that I get all the time, which is, hey, as Dr. Tactical, what the hell are you doing with all these lever actions? That doesn't seem very tactical. Well, as I pointed out in this video a while ago when I was talking mostly about revolvers, and I think it's tactical blasphemy, I consider tactical to be purpose-built. It has a mission. There's a reason for it. And we will talk about that in just a moment. What some of the benefits are of the lever action platform with 300 Blackout. But first, let's look at what everybody thinks of when they think of a 300 Blackout. This is my Sig Rattler, and I have several 300 Blackouts, and this pretty much sums them all up. And let's talk about what it has. So it's got a short barrel for starters, and that's fine because as we know with 300 Blackout, which is a phenomenal cartridge, comes in subsonic and supersonic, which makes it two radically different guns basically in one. The 300 Blackout, though, uses pistol powder, meaning you don't need as much barrel length because it's going to burn out quicker. So so you can get away with something like well, this is a 5-inch barrel. This is particularly short. Usually about 7 to 8 inches, sort of more desired. But this is purpose built for its purpose for, I'm guessing, covert type things. By the way, on the end of the barrel, what you'll see here is a flash hider. It's a three-pronged flash hider. It's an ASR flash hider. ASR, I forget what it stands for. I'll put it over here. But it's made by Silencer Co., and it's a quick disconnect for the Omega 300 suppressor. So I got helicopters flying over again. Damn paparazzi. They found out where Dr. Tactical films from. Anyway, I have the same thing sitting on the Henry. And the reason I went with the flash hider instead of a, instead of the compensator is because, well, quite frankly, laziness. A compensator has to be lined up in such a way that the vents are pushing the gases out in, evenly to the sides, whereas with a flash hider, it really doesn't matter. So you just screw the damn thing on, tighten it down, you're done. You don't have to use crush washers. You don't have to, just put it on and you're good to go. So out of sheer laziness, I went with the flash hider instead of the compensator. Okay. So we have a shorter barrel, and quite frankly, I would like to see a slightly shorter barrel on the Henry. I think it's a 16-inch barrel, which is fine, but I'd like to see something a little bit shorter. But something about this 5-inch, though, when I originally got my Omega 300, I bought it for a 7-inch barrel that I had on a different 300 Blackout, and when I got this, I went to put it on, and I did a little research, and I found out that they used to have printed in their material that if you went below a 7-inch barrel length, you would void the warranty. So I called them and reached out to them. I can't remember where I'd seen it. And I spoke to somebody there. He said, that's not the case anymore. There is no minimum barrel length for subsonic. However, for supersonic, 7 inches, I think, was the minimum, so you don't void the warranty. And that's important to know, because a lot of times people will still shoot supersonic through their suppressor, which is fine. It's just not going to be as quiet. But on a 5-inch barrel, you could have a problem. So you need to make sure you take that suppressor off if you're going to go supersonic. Also, I found when I used the 5.56 PMags, I had a problem. It would feed, but intermittently it would get hung up. It wouldn't feed properly. So I called Sig, and Sig said, you know, they make 300 Blackout, or what is this, 7.62 by 35 magazines. So there's minor differences here, slightly wider area in the front. It looks like on the follower, there's a little better ramp for the feed ramp. So I switched to that. I bought a whole bunch of them, and I have to say they feed flawlessly into the Rattler, which is really nice. So for 300 Blackout, I always recommend to people that they use a 300 Blackout magazine, which, so you can imagine my surprise when I bought my Henry and it came with this 10-round 5.56 magazine. So I went to the range, I brought a whole bunch of 5.56 and 300 Blackout magazines, and everything went flawlessly. The feeding with the lever action was a non-issue what magazine was in there. So apparently it's more finicky with the semi-auto platform than it is with the lever action platform. Also, the Rattler here is significantly heavier than the Henry. And that makes sense because there's a lot more in this gun. You've got an action that is cycling on its own. You've got the gas system or piston system in this. So there's a lot happening. Forget all the crap that I have sitting on top of it. I do plan on putting crap on top of the Henry as well. But my point is, it's a heavier gun, and it also, all those things make noise. They're all rattling around when you're shooting. So when the slide reciprocates, the action reciprocates, and the piston's pushing back and the gases are blowing, this thing makes a fair amount of noise internally, even though the suppressor's doing a decent job with the subsonic round. That all goes away when you're using a lever action. You pull the trigger, the only thing you have is that initial bang, and the gases are dealt with up there, and the back of this, the rear of this, is actually sealed. There is not an exposed hammer. What you're seeing back here is really just the safety switch, which is kind of nice. So there are no gases coming back in my face, whereas with the Rattler, I've got a seam around where the upper meets the lower, and I do have gases that come back, much more so than I'm finding with the Henry. So that's kind of nice. On the Henry, that is. That's kind of nice. So overall, I am super happy with this. I think this is a great gun for supersonic. If somebody's going to use it for something like hunting, then this is probably the perfect length for you. 16 inches is a good, decent length. Probably a little bit more than you need for the powder, but you'll get some good velocity. I'd like to see it at about 11 inches, I think. I think that would sort of be ideal for both. But from a suppressing standpoint, I think this gun is fantastic. If I were in some type of covert situation, because as a dentist, I find myself in that situation a lot, this is probably the gun I'd go for. Actually, if I were using this in a home defense situation where I was in the house, I think I would definitely prefer this, where somebody can't take it away and I can come around corners and what have you. So yeah, there's definite reasons for this. But for outdoor use and field use and target use, I would prefer this. If I was taking a long shot, and I mean, this isn't obviously 300 Blackout's not a super long shot caliber, but if I was taking a relatively long shot that I wanted to keep really quiet, I think this would by far be my preference. So I got to tell you, I waited a long time for this damn gun. And I should also point out the gripping and everything that they put on this stock, or these, it's phenomenal. On the foregrip and the stock, it's sharp, but it really grips well, and it just feels good. This is a really nice gun, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. And part of me wants to take all this crap off of it and just tacticalize the entire damn thing. I probably won't though, because I really like having a gun like this. I like, you know, I've got enough like the that have sort of been tacked out. So anyway, I'm happy with it. It's Dr. Tactical approved. So thank you for watching. I'm Dr. Tactical. Dr. Tactical out.